Hi guys, this video is meant to bring to your attention a new bill that is currently sitting on Governor Hochul's desk, awaiting to be signed into law. It has already passed both the House and the Senate at the state level. And essentially what it will do is cost the town of Somers roughly between $200,000 and $300,000 a year. So I'm going to explain to you why, with hopes that maybe you will reach out to the governor or some of your other local officials to let them know that you either do or don't support it. This isn't meant to be political anyway. I'm not anti-union. I've been a union member, and I see the value in workers sticking together. This bill, however, I also see the financial side of this and what it's going to cost our taxpayers. So essentially, prevailing wage, for those of you that don't know, is something that kind of the labor unions created and lobbied into law a while back. And it was meant to ensure fair wages and that local workers that are on federally or state or locally funded construction projects would receive a fair wage. This was only entitled to workers that were physically working on the project. So when this comes to paving, that would include anyone that's working on the paver, any of the guys on the side of the road with rakes, anybody that's actually physically working on the project. What it didn't cover was the guys that were transporting asphalt back and forth from the plant to the project. Once the driver and the truck were on the project, that driver was receiving prevailing wage. When he wasn't and he was in transit, he wasn't receiving prevailing wage, he was receiving his regular rate. So when the town of Somers goes out to bid every year, anyone that's qualified that meets our bid specs is welcome to bid because it's a public works project. We generally, in the past 30 years, have always had non-union shops win our bid. And the reason being, they were able to, in the transport of the blacktop, pay their guys their regular rate, and when they were on the project, they would be paid prevailing wage, while the union shops were paying union wages all the way around, 8 hours a day, regardless of where the employee was on the project or not. So this law now states that anybody transporting asphalt will also have to be paid prevailing wage. And what that does to the town of Somers, I'll give you some simple math. This year, the town of Somers will be paying $106 a ton laid in place for our paving projects. We generally pave about $1 million a year, roughly, let's call it 10,000 tons. Next year, if this law is signed, which I believe it will be, we'll be looking at paying $130 a ton laid in place, which is about where our union contractors come in on our bid. So next year in 2026, this law will roughly cost the town of Somers between $240,000 and $260,000. So how do we combat that? Either the town of Somers does less paving, to the tune of about 24% less paving, which is going to really beat up our paving cycle, and I'll get into that, what a paving cycle is, in another video. We raise taxes to cover that gap, which obviously will transfer to you and your pocket, or we come up with something else where maybe a bunch of municipalities get together and we figure out how to do the paving ourselves. It would require that probably several municipalities get together. Still, these local guys that have always been getting the paving work in Westchester County will no longer be getting the paving work. So while this prevailing wage was originally to protect local workers from being displaced, this version of it is actually going to displace a lot of local workers. So again, not anti-union, but I don't really see this kind of another one of these unfunded mandates that comes out of Albany. It was voted for in favor of by Senator Harcum, who does represent us, and I will include the links below, as well as in this video. If you don't like it and you don't want your taxes going up, please feel free to reach out to Governor Hochul because the bill is already on her desk. And also please let Senator Meyer and Senator Harcum know how you feel about it as well. Thanks.